In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to implement the save file dialog and open file dialog, which is used to be able to locate a file, that you want to save or that you want to open. It's wrapped around a common Windows dialog, so that means that you can roughly have the same dialog whether it's initiated by your application or whether it's initiated by Notepad or something like that. The dialog box will look exactly the same. Now, if you're doing something like for a game or something like that, you can initiate it either through a menu or through a button that you create. Either way, you want it to somewhat look similar, unless it was an immersive game where you did not want it to look anything like the Windows dialog. But this is specific to WPF and having it look pretty much the same as the regular Windows dialog, so people can be familiar with it. So let's go ahead and get started. Right now I'm here in my I'm in Visual Studio. I've opened up my WPF dialog for a new project, and I'm going to select WPF right here, and I'm just going to go ahead and name that, and I'll name that Open Close Dialog. Yeah, hit OK. So immediately what I want to do is go ahead and set up my interface. I'm going to put something where, put a button up here actually. And that button is going to be for opening my dialog. So I'm going to go ahead and name that button BTN Open. And I want to put Open File here. And I'm going to change this to Open File. And I'm going to copy this and paste it. I'm going to duplicate it basically. And I'm going to say save. So when I open it, I want to open it inside of maybe a text box or something like that. And when I save it, I want to save it to a directory. So I'm going to go here and type in text to find my text box. I'm going to drag that text box over here. And I'm going to get rid of this so I can see the rest of my tools. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the text inside of here. So just slowly double click on there and delete it. Then hit the escape key. And then resize my text box. The next thing I'm going to do is go down here into my XAML, into my text box. And I'm going to set the max lines here. And I'll set that to 150. And I'm going to hit Control S to make sure I save that. I can go ahead and expand this if I want. Something like that. Now I'm ready to go into, make sure I save both of these. I have to rename this one to BTN Save. There I go. Now I'm going to make sure I name my text box because I'm going to need that, and I'm going to name that TXT editor. All right, so my interface is ready. Now I'm just going to go to the code behind, and I'll go to the file save first. So whatever's in here, I'm going to want to save the file. And I'm inside of my button click. But what I want to be able to do is create a function that actually saves my file. So right now, I'm just going to go ahead and declare a file dialog. So I'm going to say dim s file dialog as a new save. And S file dialog stands for save file dialog. Save. Now I'm not seeing the save file dialog only because I have to import the proper libraries in order to be able to see that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way up to the top. And I'm going to say import system.io, and this is not for that dialog, but this next one is. The system file.io is for when we were saving our file and doing other things with it. But this is the one that we'll be using. Microsoft.win32. And so now if I say file dialog, you'll see that it's there now. All right, so now I have that SFile dialog there, and the next thing I want to be able to do, let's see, I'm dimming that. I'm going to want a function to be able to run my save file. So I'm going to create a function, and private sub, not as function, I'm going to create a subroutine. Private sub, save the file. And actually, I just want to go ahead and put all this inside of there. All right, so then I'm going to filter my files. So the kind of files that I want to be able to load up. So I'm going to say f file dialog dot filter, and I'm sorry, that's file name. I want it filter, and this is going to show me you know, whether it's a txt file or something like that that I want. I can go ahead and tell it that's exactly the kind of file that I want. So I'm going to say txt file, and then inside of here, I'm going to put the type. So it's going to be any name dot txt. So I'll take any name of that file .txt, and here is the extension of the type that I want right here, and that should be set. All right, so now the thing you have to ask yourself is, where do you want people to go to get this? Because you have to make it easy for people to get to the file. So you're asking yourself, do you want the system to decide? If the system decides, then whatever's set for the system, like my documents, the documents folder, or the desktop, or whatever, those special folders, then it's going to automatically go there without you having a say. So that your users will have to discover where their file is. Or you can say, you know what, every time my application is saving the file, it's saving it in a particular directory. So if you know the directory that your program will be saving it in, and we do, because we're going to have it saved in a particular directory, we can go ahead and choose that. But just for the sake of knowing, if I wanted to save this inside of one of those special folders, or special folders inside of Word, what I would do is I would say SFile dialog dot initial directory, and then I'm going to equate that to my environment dot get folder, that get folder path, I believe. Yeah. And then inside of that get folder path, I'm going to also call the special folders out of the environment. So I'm going to give it an environment, which is a statically declared, and then I am going to go special folders, special folder dot my documents, something like that. And so now every time it opens up, it's automatically going to open up in my documents, if you want that. So let's try this really quick, and then for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put an if statement here for my file, my SFile dialog, and I'm going to say SFile dialog dot show dialog. If that is true, if that show dialog is true, if it returns true, then I want to go ahead and write the file. So this is where I'm using that file.io right here, using this file. So I'm going to write all the text that's in that text box. And so first I have to say the name of the file. So I'm going to say sfile dot file name will be txt. That's going to be the file name, and this is going to be what will be inside of the file. So this is going to be the file name and the path, actually, and this is going to be what's inside the file. So just with this by itself, I should be able to run this and be able to save a file, and it should be able to save on my documents. Okay, so let's run this and see what happens in the save file. But first, before I run this, I need to be able to execute this. And I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. So now when I hit the save button, this will run. So I'm going to hit start. And then I'm going to hit save. And that does open up, and it gives me my txt file, my file.txt there. I'm going to write something in this. And then I'm going to save it. And I'm just going to leave, I'm not even going to put a extension there. I'm going to see if it saves the extension for me. All right, so that's done. And I'm going to run it again just to see if that file is there. Sorry. And yes, that file is there. And let's open that file, and we can see here what I had written in there is there. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to happen. Now let's try to read a file back into our application. And I think this video has gone on too long, so what we'll do is we'll split this video up, and I'll see you guys in the next video to be able to read the file back into our application. I'll see you then.